In a single week, a space company achieved a scale of logistics previously reserved for entire civilizations, and one individual crossed into trillion-dollar wealth. At the exact same time, a government demonstrated that it could instantly restrict global access to the most capable artificial intelligence, and digital agents began moving beyond completing tasks to deciding what their own tasks should be. These four developments highlight a single migration. Power is moving away from geographic borders and into private, automated systems. We are watching wealth and intelligence detach from the traditional national structures that used to regulate them. SpaceX's Starship is a physical map of this shift. Investors are buying into a global satellite internet network and a rapid, reusable launch system that functions as an independent layer of infrastructure. Look at the microscopic humans at the base of this rocket.
A private entity now controls the primary logistical bridge to Earth's orbit. Because this infrastructure is global and automated, it generates wealth at a speed that traditional institutions cannot track. A CEO with $1 trillion can make infrastructure decisions that affect the whole planet in hours. A national parliament requires years to debate a single tax code. This is the start of a period where intelligence becomes a cheap, utility-like commodity, but the control over it remains highly concentrated. We are attempting to manage a world of borderless, automated wealth, using the slow, geographically bound laws of the previous century. The confrontation between the U.S. government and Anthropic revealed where the new borders are being drawn. Private companies build these frontier models, but the state now views high-level reasoning as a national security asset. By intervening, the government proved that access to intelligence can be switched off like a valve. This chart tracks a massive contradiction. The downward line shows the cost of tokens plummeting, turning complex reasoning into a cheap utility. But look at the opposing axis. As raw compute gets cheaper, the most capable models are being locked by political gates. Frontier intelligence is being treated as a weapon that cannot be exported. These restrictions are forcing every other nation to react. If your economy depends on intelligence that can be withdrawn by a foreign power, you have no choice but to build an independent alternative. This is the sovereign AI arms race, a global rush to host local, open-weight models that no external government can censor. Intelligence is becoming abundant, but its distribution is becoming more political. The divide between nations will be dictated by the level of reasoning a population is permitted to access by their gatekeepers. While governments secure the models are changing how they work. The old relationship involved a human defining a specific task for a machine to complete. The emerging model is built on autonomous agents. This workflow diagram shows the shift. A human defines a broad outcome, like a business goal. From there, the main agent independently determines the steps, writes the code, and spawns independent sub-agents to execute the sequence. The software is now the one determining what needs to be done. In an AI-native organization, this agent tree replaces the traditional corporate hierarchy. Instead of slow approvals between siloed departments, agents execute continuous workflows across a unified data layer. Humans move from being the operators to being the architects of the intent. This means the competitive divide is no longer between companies that use AI and those that don't. It is between companies that redesign their entire operating model around autonomous agents and those that treat AI as another software subscription. This logic leads to a new macroeconomic reality. We are seeing tiny teams of 3 or 4 people use these autonomous loops to create the kind of value that used to require thousands of employees. This breaks the primary distribution mechanism of our society. For a century, wages were how people shared in the value created by technology. When human labor is no longer the primary engine of economic value, that social contract stops working. We are successfully engineering immense material abundance, but we lack a mechanism to distribute it if the link between employment and survival is severed. To adapt, businesses must stop treating AI as an IT upgrade. You have to rebuild your operating models so that humans define the boundaries and the judgment, while agents handle the high-volume execution. The goal must be creating a new distribution model before the old one fails. Governments need to explore dividends tied directly to the productivity of automated systems. Without a structural stake in wealth generated by machine intelligence, the concentration of power we're seeing will lead to the collapse of the social order. Look at these satellites. This orbital infrastructure,
the extreme concentration of wealth, and the control of AI models are parts of the same machine. The communications, capital, and major decision-making for the next entire decade are being built by the same handful of institutions. This transition is a live contest between concentrated automated power and human agency. The future is arriving exponentially. The question is whether our collective wisdom can accelerate fast enough to meet it.